r/AMA. I beat cancer twice before my 30th birthday. Hell yeah, brother. Do you feel like people were nicer to you after your diagnosis, or did they avoid you? Well, I didn't want to be pitied or anything like that. Although there were moments when I really needed help, and I have such a hard time asking for it. I don't like to appear weak or incapable. There was this one woman who I wasn't on good terms with. We used to be close friends, until she started dating my ex behind my back. That was a huge betrayal because when I was with my ex, I had confided in her about a lot of issues that were going on. When I was in the hospital last year, she sent me a text message telling me she heard I had cancer and wanted to visit me. That was the first I'd heard from her in a while, so I didn't reply. But since then, I've met up with her, where she made amends with me, and I decided it was time to forgive her. I don't want to go through life holding on to resentments. The one person who was mean to me was my cousin. While I was going through my transplant last year, I received a text message from her in which she called me names and told me I deserved to have cancer and that she hopes I die. I hadn't been in contact with her for years, so the message I got from her really shocked me. She has a lot of mental health issues and she talks like that to everyone in my family. The worst thing that I did to her that I can think of is that I demanded that she pay me back the $1,500 I lent to her over the years. Person shrugging, light skin tone, female sign. One thing that I noticed quite a bit was some people would say things like, "I'm here if you need anything at all." But it kind of felt like that's just something people would say to be nice. But then I wouldn't hear anything again from most of those people. One of them, I had asked if they could come with me to an appointment and they said they didn't feel comfortable in hospitals, which I totally get. But I think people should offer help only if they mean it. I did, however, have some close friends who were there to visit me in the hospital, give me rides to appointments, and I even got a few care packages, which I appreciated. The people I guess who avoided me or who I did hear from were more like acquaintances, like, not any close friends, but people who were in the same social circle as my close friends. But that didn't really bother me. I understand that cancer makes a lot of people uncomfortable. But I didn't find myself offended if people kept their distance. Cancer is traumatizing for everyone, not just the patient. Was there ever a point in your life where you thought you wouldn't recover? Yes, many times. When I was first diagnosed in 2015, I thought it was a death sentence. When I found out the cancer had basically metastasized, I thought that I might die. I was really scared. Then there were times during my chemo when I felt so sick, losing weight, losing my hair, throwing up, that it felt like I might never recover. And then last year when my cancer came back, I felt scared about the future. I thought to myself that I haven't accomplished all the things I wanted to, that I've barely lived my life. I didn't always feel like this, but there were definitely times when I did. And whenever a friend or family member was asking me how I was doing, if I was feeling down, I would sugarcoat it and not be honest about how scared I really was. Because I didn't want to be negative or a burden to anyone. Now I wish that I had been honest. Because the reality is that most cancer patients, while we try to be positive, have moments where we feel scared and hopeless. But we don't often talk about those scary moments. In 2015 I started meditating, and on my good days I went to a cancer support group. It really helped me to get in touch with my spirituality, and to surround myself with other people. One thing I learned was that whenever I was having a bad day, I'd just try to take things a day at a time. So I'd just try to focus on what I needed to do for myself for the next 24 hours, and then worry about tomorrow when it came. Or I'd make a list of things I was really grateful for. When I was in the hospital last year, I started writing about my experiences, and I hope to turn it into a book one day. So yes, I definitely had moments where I was scared about the future. But I made it through that. I've also had moments where I was full of hope. Even if the treatment hadn't been successful, I think that I would have eventually been able to find peace. If I knew my life was going to end, I probably would have made amends with people I had wronged, tried to forgive people who had wronged me, volunteered at a homeless shelter, and spent my days surrounded by my loved ones. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I could die tomorrow, or next year, or I could live for the next 40 years. What I try to do now is live for today as best as I can. To me, that means living a healthy lifestyle, nutrition, working out, doing things I'm passionate about, writing, painting, cooking, and supporting causes I believe in. I've been involved in activism for the past 6 months. *Sorry for the lengthy answer. You don't deserve the pain and life tests you've been put through. I congratulate you on your attitude, and I wish you a very long, happy and healthy life. Do you think about your cancer every day? How do you stay positive? Are you afraid of committing to someone, because you're afraid your cancer might return and you end up hurting that person? Never your fault, of course. Thank you for your kind words. There are definitely times now when I think, I hope the cancer never comes back. And I go for checkups every 3 months, so I am constantly reminded of my cancer. I have other issues now because of my cancer and the treatments I went through. I likely won't be able to have children of my own. I was told that I should have eggs frozen before my transplant last year, but since I was unemployed, I couldn't afford the cost of that, so I've come to terms with that. And I've had to spend the past year getting revaccinated for everything because the stem cell transplant eliminates any immunity one would have gained throughout their life from vaccines. So there are lots of reminders. But I guess I'm able to stay positive because of my amazing support system, family, friends, the great doctors I have who I have complete faith in. My oncologist has always been there to give me the best care and also to listen to any concerns I have, and I also have way better coping skills that I used to have. It might seem silly to some people, but meditation has helped me so much. I'm not religious, but meditating really helps to ground me and helps me be present. I've always had issues with anxiety and depression. I still feel those sometimes. But it's not as bad as it used to be. I've also been trying to volunteer and be more involved in my community, or contribute to causes that mean a lot to me. That helps me stay positive and try to do something for someone else. I also try to constantly set realistic goals for myself. I think that is important because if I am feeling down, it helps me to have something to work towards and look forward to. And then when I accomplish it, I feel a sense of achievement. So, after my stem cell transplant, when I got discharged from the hospital, I was really underweight. Which is normal. I was like 100 pounds. I'm 5 feet 8. So I set a goal for myself that after a year, I wanted to gain at least 30 pounds. I have a high metabolism, so it's hard for me to gain weight. Well, after a year, I weigh 140 pounds. Even though that might not seem like a big thing, that was a huge accomplishment for me. And I worked so hard to gain that weight, especially since I wanted to gain it by eating healthy. And yes, I definitely have some reservations about being in a relationship. In fact, the last time I was in a relationship was in 2017. Last year, I was just wanting to focus on my health and taking care of myself. I know that being in a relationship is hard work, and I just didn't have the time or energy for one. And then when I had to shave my head because my hair was falling out, I felt really ugly and unattractive. I used to get asked out lots before then. So yeah, I started to feel really self-conscious. I'm not bald anymore. My hair is growing back, but it's still short. I have an undercut on one side. And I'm at a healthy weight, don't have bags under my eyes anymore. But I'm still self-conscious. I tried dating about 5 months ago, but I ended it after a month because it just didn't feel right. I don't think I have a fear that the cancer will come back if I'm in a relationship, but I think I'm avoiding being in one because I'm still pretty self-conscious about how I look. My uncle survived cancer, but his unhealthy lifestyle killed him at late 30s. Please don't do the same. I didn't mention this in the op because I didn't want to come across as preachy or try to diminish the effectiveness of the amazing doctors who treated me, but when I found out that my cancer came back last year, I decided to completely change my eating habits. Before then I was eating really unhealthily. So I started eating 100% plant-based, and sticking with whole foods, fruits and veggies, whole grains, nuts, seeds, fortified plant-based milks, beans, tofu etc. The chemo and stem cell transplant saved me, but I believe that my change in nutrition really aided me in my recovery, and is something I have continued as a commitment to living a long and healthy life. Most of the food I eat, I cook or bake myself, and for the most part one stay away from processed food because there is even plant-based products that can be heavily processed. I also quit smoking in 2016. And I work out 3x a week. I'm sorry about your uncle broken heart. You are doing the right thing buying healthy organic foods. I don't want to sound preachy either, but our bodies are amazing when given the right fuel. And what each one of us need differs. I tested my hair at the Paragon Vitamins website to see what I need to eat and got a complete list of what my levels are. I've completely changed my food habits and buy their vitamins too, and it has made a bit difference in how I feel and look. Both of my grandpas are in recovery from cancer, and do you know of anything that could help them? Also, congratulations on kicking cancer's ass. Self-care and community I'd say are two of the most important things in recovery. Self-care for me are things like healthy eating, physical activity, things like going for a walk, and, if I have the energy, working out even just one day a week, and doing things that help ground me or make me happy. For me this includes meditation, getting adequate sleep, reading books, painting, and cooking, baking because I love being in the kitchen. And I love going for walks. That really helps my mental health, plus it's a form of physical exercise. But self-care also means learning how to listen to my body. So if a friend invites me to some social gathering, but I just don't feel up to it, reminding myself that it is okay to say no. Well, in the city I live in, there are lots of groups and classes for cancer patients, survivors. Most cancer hospitals have free support groups for people who have had cancer. There also are non-profit organizations that have different classes for people in recovery. One place I've gone to offers all sorts of classes and groups for cancer patients, survivors, including art therapy, exercise classes, meditation, mindfulness groups, and so on. These things are great because you get to socialize with other people who have gone through the same thing as you. Purple heart, purple heart, purple heart. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more.